Are you sure this shit's
Happy
recording?
birthday to... Oh, wait, it's Thursday.
Whatever. Are
Not
you
much.
sure this shit's recording?
Yes, I'm certain it's recording.
And you sure?
Yeah, we're not...
I don't want to do 3 episodes in one again like yesterday.
All right, so title of today's video, we are doing car comparison.
Car versus car versus car.
Yeah, because we came up with 3. So that's a new segment, a new idea. We want to help you understand which type of vehicle or which make model you've got the best chance of getting the best deal on, and what makes the most sense over the lifetime of ownership. So everyone online is doing car reviews.
Yeah.
There's Car Wow. They do those awesome car drag races, which are super cool. We're going to do something a little bit more practical that also compares vehicles against one another. How much can you potentially negotiate, and what's that cost of ownership going to be over the lifetime, so that we can give you our recommendation. And we haven't talked about this yet, so I'm interested to see if our recommendations are the same.
Okay.
About which car, or in this case, we're doing SUV.
This whole thing reminds me of Mad Magazine Spy versus Spy, but we'll see how it goes.
I'm not aware of what that is.
That's okay. You're young, and the magazine is defunct these days. So,
all right. So we're doing Kia Telluride.
Is today Wednesday?
We're doing Kia Telluride.
It's your birthday.
We're doing Kia Telluride.
We are. That's one of the vehicles.
Versus Hyundai Palisade.
Yeah.
Versus Ford Expedition.
Obvious son of a bitch.
Done. And if you're wondering how we came up with these 3, these are the 3 highest rated 3-row SUVs on U.S. News World Report. Okay, they're all rated
because they are the authority, U.S. News and World Report, when it comes to cars and SUVs and trucks.
Okay, so for the next...
Oh, by the way, I now subscribe to Consumer Reports, so if we ever want to look at their information for how they rate these cars, we can talk about that as well.
Definitely. Okay. All right. So let's dive into the first, which we'll talk about the overall criteria for negotiability. So on these 3 different SUVs, if you're in the market, which one can you negotiate the best deal on? Should we start with the Telluride?
Okay, the one that you could least...
Well, I mean, yeah, let's
start. Well, yeah. Why don't we start in the way you have them on the screen and on this piece of paper here?
So, what's the market day supply right now for Tellurides?
8. Not 18, not 28, not 38, 8.
Okay, and if you're interested in how we calculate that, I can pull, and this is what we're coming out with our market price report in a couple weeks here, so fingers crossed that'll be out soon.
Hang in there.
There were 4,179 Kia Tellurides sold in the United States in the last 45 days.
Yes. And today, there's 775 Kia Tellurides in the United States.
That math is tough to check out.
It is, because, they sell almost 1,000 a day.
1,000 a day?
Well, they did 4,100 in 45 days. No, that's not 1,000 a day. Whatever.
100 a day?
100 a day. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, 1,000 a day.
Well, it's late, Jesus. All right, so I haven't had my nap or nothing today.
So market day supply is 8 on the Telluride. Now, what about the Palisade?
The Palisade is 3 times better than that at 26-day supply.
And so when we look at the Palisade, we also have more supply in general and also more demand. So there were 11,862
sold
in the last 45 days, but there's also
almost 6,900 in inventory around the country.
Yeah. And if you're curious, how am I pulling these numbers? It's online. All these cars are listed on dealer websites, so you can kind of scrape that information. But anyway, that's another conversation. Get in touch with me directly if you're curious about that. So we've got 3 times as big market day supply on the Palisade to the Telluride.
Yes.
Now, the third one is the Expedition that we ran for this comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Run us through.
Well, unlike the Telluride, it has 10 times more day supply. It's got an 80-day supply. Yeah. Okay. So, I would say, just based on market day supply, that one's probably going to be the most negotiable of all, because, well, they in the last 45 days they sold 10,800 of them, and right now they've got 19,000 in inventory. So they got They got almost a 90-day supply, but
Yeah.
that's besides the point.
Yeah, so there's a big supply of Expeditions.
Yes.
Especially when we think about this comparison, but also just SUVs in general, since they've been so in demand.
Well, what really surprised me when I looked at the numbers is you look at the Palisade, and over the last 45 days, the Palisade has actually outsold the Ford Expedition.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, they don't have nearly as many dealerships.
No, that's another piece of info that we should probably pull in the future.
Yes, number of dealerships, because everybody wants to know.
It is kind of interesting.
It is.
Because, and the other thing is with the Palisade, the production levels, I would anticipate, and this is another thing that we can pull, so if it's of interest as we build out this series, the production levels are going to be less than Ford as well.
Yes.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got more Palisades being sold, but we've got way fewer Tellurides available. So the market day supply is low on that. Market day supply is in the middle for the Palisade, but still under 30 is good luck negotiating a deal.
Yes.
Because again, what incentive does a dealer have if they know every 26 days they're going to flip their inventory?
Let me hear. I'll help you with this. None.
Yeah, and you did this for 40 plus years. I mean, I'm not making this up.
Yeah, it's like here we go, folks. Here, I'll tell you what I can do for you. Did you want? I don't know, a set of floor mats, or did you want the windows tinted? Now I'll let you know the window tinting cost me more than the floor mats, but it's up to you. If you want to make me bleed a little bit, I would go with the window tinting.
Okay, but then on the Expedition, that's where we actually start to have some wiggle room, which starts to make sense because the Expedition's price point is so drastically different than the Palisade and Telluride.
Yes.
The Expedition is like a $20,000 more expensive car. SUV.
Yes. But you also did a 5-year cost of ownership analysis.
Yes.
On all three of these vehicles.
Which I take little to no credit for. You can do that online. I think we pulled this one from, let me just double check. Someone's texting my dad. Yeah, this is from KBB.
Oh, jeez, it's your sister. Okay, everybody's a star in our family. I'm putting it on silent. Do not disturb. Let's see. Uncle Kenny's a star. Dara's a star. Everybody's in one of our episodes.
Star.
Yeah.
Okay, so
our dog died a couple of years ago. She would have probably couldn't now.
I'll put a picture of it.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so we pulled the 5-year estimated cost of ownership from KBB, from Kelley Blue Book.
Yes.
And so, let's run through each of those for the vehicles.
You need to be sitting down for this, folks.
You start with the Expedition? I wouldn't start.
No, because then we'll need to break out the paddles when we get to the Expedition. The average 5-year cost of ownership, as projected by Kelley Blue Book, which takes into consideration fuel costs, insurance costs, state fees, maintenance, repairs, loss of value, also known as depreciation in most worlds. The 5-year total cost of ownership is projected to be a little over $48,500
on the Telluride.
On the Telluride, so a little less than $10,000 a year to have the privilege of driving a Telluride. Now, if you look at the Palisade, the 5-year cost of ownership on that is slightly higher. It's $500 higher.
Estimated. So
They're about the same. Now, you better have your cardiac specialist on hand. Are you sitting, folks? Please be, because I don't want you to hit your heads when you fall. Okay? Because I don't want that anybody should need more than just chest paddles and somebody screaming clear before they try to bring you back to life. But the 5-year cost of ownership projected by Kelley Blue Book on the Expedition is just $67,858.
That's insane.
That's like what? 5 times 12 is 60. So that's about $12,500 a year. They're expecting.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a bargain.
And we ran just for fun, like an Acura MDX, so something that's considered a luxury vehicle.
And I think
actually that's what I still have up on my screen. Yeah, the 5-year cost to own an MDX is $54,000.
$54,000. So
still way more reasonable than $68,000.
One would suspect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you factor the negotiability aspect, versus the cost of ownership. Sure. Can you get a better deal most likely on an Expedition?
Hopefully you need to get, I don't know, a $20,000 better deal on the Expedition to make up for the additional cost of ownership.
Exactly. So when you start to cross shop between the Telluride and the Palisade, you're probably not going to get a great deal on a Telluride. You're
going to get a few. You'll get a few dollars off on a Hyundai because, well, the Hyundai dealership just doesn't know any better.
Hyundai dealers probably watch this stuff. You gotta be careful.
Oh.
But Hyundai has like the driver assurance program, like if you lose your job or something like that.
Sure.
So there are different programs out there to benefit. But it's really between the Telluride and the Palisade, and I would go out on a limb unless you really have some like very specific trim configurations that you need, and if you do, you might be pigeonholed into just the Telluride or just the Palisade. But I would say the Palisade, you've got potentially a better chance to get a deal, and also
a slightly better chance, and not nearly as good a chance as you'd have on the Expedition.
Yeah. But from like a actual one to own perspective, I'm going Palisade. What about you?
That would be the direction I'd go.
And we had previously, I think my first car, which was obviously my dad's car, was a Hyundai Sonata.
It was,
and I mean,
well, your first car was a Maxima.
Oh yeah, like a 1997 Nissan Maxima,
something like that. Yeah.
No, but seriously, the Hyundais are good, reliable cars, and there's a lot more supply out there. So these numbers that we've quoted for market day supply are trailing, right? Like we look at the past 45 days of sales and how much are currently out there. There's more inventory, right? We said there's 6,893 that are currently actively for sale versus 775 for the Telluride.
Yeah.
So if buyer demand kind of dries up a little bit, there's still more supply of the Palisade out there than the Telluride. The Telluride, Kia's obviously struggling with their production facilities being impacted from coronavirus. Same with all the other manufacturers, but that is super low for a super in-demand vehicle.
And it's probably a tad less expensive MSRP wise than the Hyundai.
Yeah,
since the Hyundai's the big sister.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So there you have it. So if you're thinking about a 3-row SUV, this is not, performance stats. This is not how nice the seats feel. This is just straight up, what can I get the best deal on and what's going to make the most financial sense for me over the 5-year ownership?
Probably the Palisades.
The
one that's going to cost you the most, but you could probably get the best deal on is the Expedition.
Definitely.
And the one that you're going to pay the most for, where you're not going to get much of a deal, will be the Telluride.
And
but the cost of ownership will be the lowest.
Yeah. And don't be surprised on the Telluride if there's ADM, there's additional dealer markup.
Yes,
I've actually received some emails from some people saying, my local Kia dealership is actually saying it's 2% above MSRP.
Yeah.
And they asked why, and they said because we don't have any. Like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, but I mean, you understand it. They shouldn't do it, but you understand it.
Exactly. The MSRP should be more than enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, you like this type of stuff? Let us know what comparisons you want for car versus car.
And if you don't like this kind of stuff, well, you're shit out of luck because we did it anyway.
Yeah, you're stuck. Yeah. We had a commenter one time that just like, you remember this one? He was completely ragging on you, and he's like, but YouTube keeps putting it in my browser, so I keep clicking and watching. It's like, man, you don't like it. It's just,
stop clicking.
Just stop clicking, man.
Yeah.
But actually don't, because...
don't ever stop.
Don't stop clicking.
Don't ever stop. Hey, thanks so much for putting up with us today.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. Bye.
It wasn't recording.
Stop. You're so full of shit. Because I'm not doing it again.